What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. It is the second day of December, and here we are with about 7 hours and 42 minutes left in the day, looking like we are making a massive recovery from yesterday's drop. The potential of going below this low has diminished a little bit as of today, but again, one day we're down, one day we're up. In these volatile times, you never know what's coming next. Do be open-minded to the idea that we could go below this low. Again, I'm not going to go through the whole spiel, but typically and throughout this cycle, whenever we hit these levels in the RSI, we do actually see, even with higher lows in the RSI, we do see lower lows in the price as time develops. Typically, when we see these levels in the RSI, we don't make straight shots to the upside or to the downside. We're range bound more for 30 to 60 days, somewhere in there, typically. Okay. That doesn't mean we can't move up. That doesn't mean we can't break out and move down. But typically we are range bound. So just keep that in mind. We are making a nice recovery from yesterday, and perhaps with that, these targets back at about $100,000 to $98,000 might be back on the table, and perhaps that's exactly where we're going. Any higher than that, and then we really do run the possibility of going up to about 116, 115K. And if we break above this level here, you guys, I mean, at that point, every bear that came out at the lows saying that we were in a bear market, right? Because most people at this point weren't saying we were in a bear market. I remember it was right here on this day. Most people started saying we were in a bear market here. So basically, at the lows, anybody who said that we're in a bear market is going to have to rethink their thoughts if and when we get above 116K. But again, don't get too excited. I highly doubt, especially with these low readings that we have on the RSI, I highly doubt that we're just going to make a straight shot move all the way up there. But it would be nice. I mean, if we could get above 116K by the end of this year, by the end of December, I would be impressed. At this point, though, let's just focus on 100K. Let's focus on that 99, 98, 101K level, somewhere around there at these prior lows. And it's not just these lows. Let's look at these lows here. We'll put a line right at the bottom there, but these lows as well. This point of resistance here, some support there, resistance here. It's a somewhat significant level, and it is that psychological resistance of 100K. So, plus, I wonder if we take a high here to a low, it's not really at any fibs, but we have been doing this thing where we go up to our 0.5, pull back to our 236, and then we move up, right? We could do something like that. And then maybe we consolidate further, and then it's January before we start moving up. Even this is pretty like sideways consolidation, but that would be more positive structure than what we typically see with this low bounce here. Typically, we don't get upward sloping. It's actually like downward sloping, right? The last time we got that low in the RSI was over here, and the sideways structure we had was more or less shifted downwards. Can it be shifted to the upside? Sure. But even then, I would be very surprised if we got above 110K this month. It's not impossible, but for now, again, let's just focus on that 100K level. Let's look at the 1 hour time frame, and then we'll zoom out from there. All right, this is a nice reversal here. Isn't it funny? Everybody's so funny, man. The carry trades, the Japanese carry trades, they're going to ruin the market. Everything's screwed. But we were saying yesterday, the stock market's not screwed. I don't buy that at all, right? We had all this dumping, all of it from here down to here, and we heard nothing. There's no narrative. We heard on the whispers. People, if you're listening, you're aware of what happened with this drop. You're aware of the coordinated efforts to basically dismantle the crypto markets, right? You're aware of it. But here, on this little dump, then we get the news. None of this. There's no news at all. Nothing at all. No story as to why we're dropping. None of it. And then here, right? Because this was after, there was a good part of this drop that was after the government shutdown ended. So it wasn't the government shutdown. Somebody said that, and I'm like, no, that's not what it was. But then here on this little drop, we get a news story where here we had total silence, right? The Japanese carry trades don't matter. It's not that they don't matter, but they don't matter as much as people think that they do. And we knew that. We said that yesterday. We said that the fact that the crypto market's dumping and people are saying it's because of the Japanese carry trades, we're saying that's BS. It's not because of the carry trades. It's because of the same old stuff that's been happening. That's why. It's because of the manipulation, the coordinated efforts of selling Bitcoin all at the same time from every major exchange in the world. That's why we dropped. It wasn't because of the carry trades, right? If it was because of the carry trades, the S&P would have dumped too. Because if that's a big macro negative boo-boo, the S&P, the NASDAQ, everything would have crashed yesterday too. But they didn't. They didn't. What, a modest correction and now we're up today? That's not it. No, hell no. So anyways, just again, it's funny how people play out these narratives. Yesterday, oh no, this is going to screw up the markets, and now today, well, I guess not. It wasn't as big of a deal as you thought it was it? And that's what we were saying yesterday too. Looking at the 1 hour time frame here, $90,400, a lot of volume coming in. It's kind of like a BART, but with a triangle shape at the bottom. Maybe it's an inverted roof pattern. You know what? I bet that is a inverse head and shoulders pattern on the 1 hour time frame. That's 100% what that is. Yep, that is an inverse head and shoulders, and we broke out. Let's just see what our breakout move would have been, our measure move here. Low to the high of the pattern, and then you take the breakout measurement. Yeah, it's perfect. It's literally perfect. So we hit our measure move. Here we probably consolidate, right? Let's look back at the daily. If we were to consolidate, where might we pull back to? I want to put this low to high on, and then we'll put the 1 hour back on. Yeah, we'll probably either find support right here at about $90,000, or we may pull back all the way down to about 88 to 86.6K and then move up from there, right? Something like that. It could be a nice high and tight kind of consolidation, or it could be a little bit looser, but that's still not that big of a deal. I would think between here, 88,000 and 90,000, we do find support. That's probably what we're going to do. Looking at the 1 hour indicators here, we are overbought on the RSI to a good degree. That's nice. That typically promotes more growth as time goes on, right? We've got some deep readings in there, some of the deepest readings that we've seen really in a little while since November 10th. November 10th, whenever we had these readings, we did push higher afterwards, and then we dumped. So likely we do push higher, and this was again the same reading here at the high. It's the same reading that we have now. You see how this lines up very well with that dashed line right there? And the reaction we had afterwards was we consolidated very tight, and then we moved up, and then we moved down. I would think here we consolidate pretty tight as well, probably just like this range. But when we move up, it won't be a fake out. I'm not assuming that we'll see a fake out. I think we've already messed around in this area enough. The fact that we're coming back up here, especially after a dump like this, I would think after consolidation, we'd probably rally higher. The stochastics are bullish, but you're pretty overbought for a little while. Maybe you take some time to cool off. Wouldn't surprise me at all if today, for the rest of the day, more or less, we were basically at these exact same areas, if not a little bit lower. The MACD's crossing up, which is nice, but again, the 1 hour MACD is kind of useless. 4 hour time frame here, the RSI is very volatile to say the least. We're at a point where you typically do find resistance or you push on higher. I think that we're going to find resistance here. We'll probably come down to the 50, bounce from there, and then continue to rally. Just like we did here, right? You had your initial push up, found resistance here, went down to your 50, and then you continue to rally. Stochastics look good, but again, you could be finding resistance here as well. The MACD is not helpful. It's flipping green right now. You're near the zero, but I don't really care. There's some good things, but I don't think it's worth mentioning really. Daily time frame does not have bullish divergence, but we do have a bounce right off the oversold zone. We are recovering today. That looks nice. Stochastics look good. Continuing upwards. That's nice. The fact that we turned around here yesterday and we looked like we were pointing down, the fact that we've come back up today is just such a nice reversal. We likely do, as the week goes on, push higher. I wouldn't be surprised at all if by the end of this week, the very first week of December, if we were back at 99,000 or higher, maybe above 100K, something like that. Yep. Yesterday, it was looking like we might not break above 100K for the rest of the month. Maybe this was the zone that we consolidated at, and that's what I was starting to say yesterday because of that very, very, very intense reaction that we had. But now with this just as intense reaction here to the upside, again, maybe instead of this being our consolidation range, or even like this being our consolidation range, perhaps our consolidation range is more like this. Maybe it's this whole range here, or even shifted higher. Maybe we do have a slightly slanted kind of consolidation range to the upside over time. But I do expect more or less we will be moving sideways. We will be consolidating until the end of December at the earliest, if not likely sometime in January. Then we can talk about breaking out to the upside. I'm very confident. I'm the utmost confident that we are in a bull market still. And I mean, I don't know, man. I very much believe that we're not in a bear market at this point. We do have higher lows, which is nice. Let's see if we can form a higher high. Go from there. The ultimate goal would be to get above 116K, 116.4K. We get above this high, and at that point, you've got to be high yourself if you still believe that the bear market is alive, right? There's still some arguments to be made. Even if you get above this high, there's still some arguments to be made here that, oh, that could be a lower macro high, right? But if you get this here, technically it is a lower high, technically, but we're above this very critical point of this overall kind of consolidation phase. I think 116.4K is the ultimate goal, but we probably don't see those prices or higher until sometime in January. That's my thoughts. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Ultimately, the next target area, the next expected target area for Bitcoin is anywhere from about 150K to $200,000, really. Whenever we do move higher, which won't be right now, but whenever we do make that move higher, we will probably stop somewhere in this area here. That's my thoughts. And likely sometime in January, if not early February. I've got nothing else. Hit the like button. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.